All right, what's up, fine folks? Today we're going to be looking at labeling your volumes inside Linux. Why do you want to label your volumes? Well, if you have volumes that are in etc fstab and your system is expecting certain volume names to be there and they're not, your system may not boot. Also, you're going to get unexpected results. Like I said, if there's some application that's expecting a certain volume to be like /dev/nvme, whatever, those NVMe names may change, especially on AWS when you're detaching and reattaching storage. So you want to give your storage labels. So we're going to look at how to give your storage labels. We're going to use the xfs_admin command to do that. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come into my AWS account and I'm going to set up two EC2 instances. This will make it easy for us to be able to see how this works. What we're going to do is we're going to attach some extra storage to one instance. We're going to give it a label. Then we're going to detach it from that instance and attach it to another instance. And we're going to watch and see how that other instance is going to have the same label. So the labels actually stay with the storage. It's actually written onto the storage in some mechanism. And let's see. Logging into EWG training. Just logging into my account. And okay, cool. I'm in here. All right, EC2. And let's see, no instances running, that's good. That means I haven't left anything running. It's not going to cost me any money. When you're dealing with Amazon and all these cloud storage providers, you definitely want to shut down your instances when you're done with them. So we're going to call this server. The first one we'll call server A. Okay. And we'll keep it as a T2 micro is fine. Key pair. Let's create a new key pair. And let's call this key pair label test. So we call it label test. I did one yesterday, so there's probably another one in there with a name that's similar, but we're calling this one label test. And you can see down here it just downloaded that private key. So I'll make sure that it's on my desk or in my downloads. That's cool. All right, so we got that. So let's come down here, security groups. As far as SSH, we're gonna SSH from here, from my house, from my place. And then let's go ahead and add that extra volume that we're gonna need to do this test. And let's launch the instance. So that's done. And here's the instance. Now let's add another instance. Let's add another virtual machine, rather. Call this one server B. Server B. And this one we'll make it a T3 micro. T3 micro. And still is Amazon Linux. You know what? Actually, it could just be a T3 nano. Because the smaller it is, the cheaper it'll cost. And I should have put as far as when I shut these down, I want these to be terminated. So there's an option in here as far as what to do when you shut it down. Shut down behavior. I should have put terminate, but we'll put terminate for this one. And we're going to save this. Oops, keep here. We'll go with the label test down here. We use the same key. The key is referring to the SSH key that you'll need to log in to the system. All right. So close some of these windows out. All right, so we got server A, server B. Let's go ahead and log into server A. Actually, let's log into A and B. So let me pull up my terminal windows. Let's actually make 2 terminal windows. And we'll make one black and one, we'll keep one white as the background. So we'll go with, all right. So, put one over there, one over here. Let me make this a little bit bigger. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. So over here, the white one will do server A. So how do we log in? We're going to need the public IP address like that. Grab it. And we're going to SSH into it. But we're going to want to give it the key. We called it label. Oops. Label test.pim. And we're going to log in as CentOS. Oh, EC2 user. EC2 user is the default user for Amazon Linux operating systems, and that's the one that we chose. So we log in. Now we're going to, it says permission denied. That's because the permissions that we actually have on the SSH key are not good. You can see it's it needs to be 600. So the reading of the group and of the other needs to be taken off there. So what we could do is sudo, we do sudo chmod, and we say 600, download label pen test. Put my password in. Oops. Okay. Try this again, very slowly. Very slowly. Okay, cool. So I think we changed it. All right, so yeah, we got the correct permissions now. So we'll pull up that command to SSH in there again. And we're SSH'd in there. We're going to change this. Let's just go ahead and change the server name to server A. Server A. Oops. Must be root to do that, of course. So we'll say sudo server A. Sudo hostname. And then we'll do an exec bash so that we can see it. So now you guys see up here it says server A. So we'll do the same for this one over here. We're going to log into server B. Get the public IP address. SSH -i downloads, and then EC2 user at this IP address. So we're logged into there, and now we're going to say sudo hostname. But first I'm going to do my trusty set-ovi so I can use my vim commands on the command line. So we are going to say hostname server B. All right, exec bash. And that way we could just kind of see right here that we're on server B and here we're on server A. Okay? Oops, sorry. So on server A, we do an lsblk and we see it has an xvdb. That's that extra disk there. On server B, if we do an lsblk, we don't see that extra disk there because it only has the NVMe 0 and 1. The reason the server B's got NVMe names and the other one, the server A, has XVDA names is because this one's built on the Zen hypervisor and the server B is built on Nitro, Amazon's Nitro system. So they use the flash storage that they use in it. It's going to come up as NVMe and that kind of thing. So what we're going to do is, knowing that, let's see where we at. Oh, another command we could do with lsblk though, just so you know, is the -o plus serial, and that's going to show us the serial number. It's supposed to, but apparently it doesn't on Xen hypervisor systems. Let's see. Okay, so here you notice we have the serial number. Okay, but on Xen hypervisor, I guess it doesn't give you that. Anywho, so let's go ahead and run another command on server A called blkid, and you have to be sudo to do that. And for blkid, you'll notice that the xvdb doesn't show up in here because it's not formatted. So we need to format it. We're going to format it as XFS. So let's go ahead and format it. And just to make sure you see that it doesn't show up in there, we'll run it again and we'll grep for xvdb and nothing comes up. So let's format it. So let's say sudo makefs-xfs and then dev xvdb. This is how we format it. So we formatted it. Now we're going to see it show up inside when we do blkid. So it shows up inside of there. Another way we can make sure that it is formatted is we do file-s and do dev xvdb. Oops. Need to be root to do that. xvdb. So sudo. And you see it says SGI XFS file system. So it is formatted as XFS file system. All right. So right now it doesn't have a label on it. So let's add a label to it. How do we add a label? We're going to do XFS admin. And then we're going to use the -L option to add the label. And the label, we're just going to call it, Oracle data. Okay. It's the label we're going to give it. And what do we want to label? We want to label the XVDB. Now that we're adding the label, it's actually writing the label directly onto the hard drive itself. It's storing it somewhere on the hard drive. So, because when we move this drive to the server B, it's going to follow it. Oops. Set. You need to be root to run most of these commands, so you need to be entering the sudo. Okay, so it says write all, and then writing all, and then it says new label Oracle data. So now when we run that command, the blkid, notice it says label equals Oracle data. Okay, so we have a label. Now, notice it's not mounted yet. Let's create a directory to mount it. So let's do sudo make directory, make dir, and we'll put it in the mount directory, and we'll call it Oracle data. Boom. Now we're going to open up it. So we just made us a directory. If you look inside of, you see that's the directory we made if you look inside the mount directory. So sudo vim etc fstab. So what we're going to do down here is we're going to add it to our fstab. This means it's going to mount it on boot up. Okay, so we're going to do label equals, the label is called Oracle data, and we want to mount it on mount Oracle data. That's the directory we're mounting it on. And we're mounting it as XFS file system. And we're going to just do defaults 00. Now again, notice when you do the df command and you grep for Oracle, we don't see anything. But if we run sudo mount-a, and then we run that command again, we see our mounted data. So mount-a is a great command to do because it will mimic the mounting of a file system on boot. So you want to run mount-a just to make sure your system, if mount-a gives you errors, you're not going to boot. So you better fix that before you try to reboot, or else you're going to be SOL out of luck. So now that we have that mounted, I'm trying to organize my screen width here. When you double click in here, it should perfectly, oh well, we'll just slide it over. Don't know why it doesn't want to do that. Okay. Anyway, LSBLK, we're going to unmount it now. sudo umount dev xvdb. So we unmount it, lsblk. You see it's still there, but it's unmounted. Now we're going to come inside of Amazon, and we're actually going to come and find this volume, this SDB volume right here, and we're going to detach it all together. So we're going to find the volume, and we'll say Oracle, call it Oracle data. It's good to label, it's good to tag things inside of AWS so you know what you're working with. So detach. So now that we actually detached it, not only is it going to show detached over here on this screen, as you can see, storage, it's well, there it is. It just went away. Eventually it should stop showing up in here altogether, I do believe. Yeah, it's gone. So we don't see it anymore in there. And then also here, if we do lsblk, notice we are not seeing, let me clear my screen. We're not seeing it anymore, so it's gone. Now we're gonna attach it over here. Okay, so we're gonna come back to that. First, we're gonna grab the instance ID of the server B that we want to attach it to, and we're gonna come right back here to this volume. We're gonna come down to, let's refresh again because we're not getting the attach option and the actions drop down. Now we are. We're going to attach it. We're going to put in the instance. Ah, man. Oh, you know what happened? I think we launched these in 2 different availability zones. Yeah, look, this one's in US East 1D and this one's in US East 1C. So we can't attach it. So we need to recreate this other T3 Nano and make sure we put it in US East 1D. So it's a good thing that we set up the terminate on shutdown. So we'll go to connect. Oops, not connect. That's not what we wanted. We wanted the instant state. We just want to stop it. So we can stop it from here, or we can actually stop it from the command line. We could do sudo shutdown now. So since it's shut down, it should go into termination mode because we had that attribute set to terminate on shutdown. So I'm refreshing. It says shutting down. So I'm going to label this old. We're going to go ahead and create a new one and make sure we put it in US East 1D. D as in dog. So we'll let that shut down. Let's go ahead and launch our new instance. Again, we call it server B. And we want to make sure we put it in 1D. So we want to come down here to VPC and subnets, and we're going to edit this subnet info and make sure, because we do have a preference, we want it to go into US East 1D as in dog, so that we can attach the other storage to it. Let's see. I hope this doesn't, I don't get demonetized because of my ringtone. So port anywhere, my IP. Okay. All right, so we'll say shut down, same behavior. We want it to terminate. Oh, we didn't add a key. Key pair is going to be that same key, that label test key. So we'll add that. All right. Come back to the instances screen, and we see we have our old one is being terminated. So we'll label this correctly. Alrighty. So let's grab the IP address of this new one, which is this. Come back. log in. Let's put the new IP address there. Okay, so we're logged in a new server. Sudo hostname server B. Do an exec bash, set-ovi. All right, so lsb okay, so it still doesn't have any extra storage attached. Now we're gonna grab this instance ID, come back to our volume screen, and we should be able to find it. And device name, SDF. Yeah, that's fine, SDF is fine. Maybe we could put SDB, you know, as long as there's nothing using SDB, which there isn't. So there's the Oracle data. Here, this is what we just attached. So we just attached this one. And it says in use. And it shows us the instance ID that it's attached to. Okay, let's label these over here, server A and server B. So server A and server B. I'm showing you guys you're getting to see some AWS stuff while we are messing around. You can also adjust your views of how the different columns you view. Like we don't need this, we don't need that. We do want availability zone, state. We don't need alarm statuses. We don't need encryption. So we get rid of some of these. We don't need IOPS. So let's confirm. And now we've greatly limited what we see column-wise. So we can see that they're all in US East 1D. And we see the server B should be attached now, or the volume. So there it is, NVMe. So the way that we can tell, we could do a blkid again, sudo blkid. Remember, we're on server B, and we're going to grep for Oracle. And you see it with the label Oracle data. So the labels stick with the volumes itself. And let's even go ahead and mount it. So let's do a sudo make dir on mmt Oracle data. I'm going to create a directory called Oracle data on server B. And then we're going to say sudo vim etc fstab. And we're going to come add this. So remember, we do label equals Oracle data. So that's what we call it. And we're mounting it to Oracle data and the mount directory. XFS file system defaults 00. Clear this out. Now we're going to do a mount -a. First, you can see it's not, there's nothing mounted. But we do a sudo mount -a and run the df command again, and now you see it's mounted. So the moral of this story is that you should label your volumes, and that's how you do it. And remember to clean up all your stuff when you're done. Let's just go over that really quick to make sure that we actually shut everything down properly. So we come back over here to our instances, and we come to instance state. Actually, we can terminate them all at the same time, but this one, let's see. So we're going to stop these instances, and the server B should terminate. We're going to have to manually terminate the server A. Also, your storage does not get terminated just because you terminate the instance. It has to be set for delete on termination. And if we look at that first one that we had shut down, the storage apparently was set to delete on termination because it's gone. The volume is gone. And let's see what happens with this stuff. So for this new server B, once we actually shut it down, once it actually goes into termination mode, the storage should disappear. Only the one that's set to delete on termination, which was that root volume, the extra data, the Oracle data, we're going to have to manually get rid of that. So I will fast forward this video. Ay. All right. Let's see. Well, I guess we didn't have delete on termination set. Thought we did. Thought I did. But I guess I didn't. So let's make sure we hit terminate. Terminate. Hold on, I'm just curious. Because I could have swore I had delete on termination set or shutdown behavior. Check shutdown. All right, anyway, not gonna worry about all that. We'll just set it to terminate. Boom. Okay. And then come in here, delete these volumes. Delete, bam. All right, so it looks like that's everything. All right, so that's it. That's how you set your volume labels, and you should do it. Till next time, I'm Elliot, your web guy, or Elliot My Web Guy. Peace.